Hi, I am Dana K. White. I am the author of Decluttering at the Speed of Life and several other books. And I am going live to take some questions today. As you can tell, my schedule has been completely off. I've been out of town, traveling, all that kind of stuff. So, kind of on a weird schedule, but I'm going to do this. I also want to make sure to take advantage of this opportunity to share with you that Take Your House Back is on sale. So I am going to be taking questions, but before I get to that, let me just tell you what it is if you don't know, or if you've been on the fence for all the other times when it's been open. I want to make sure you know what this is so that you can know if it's the right deal for you, because this is the cheapest price that it ever is. It's $84. I'm going to check to make sure y'all can hear me. Yay! I love y'all so much. Seriously. Do you know how much it makes me feel connected when I know there are people like Judy who are going to come on and say, yes, we can hear you, because you know I'm paranoid about that. But anyway, okay, so let me talk about Take Your House Back for a little bit before we get to some questions. I am just going to do live questions today. So, this might be your chance if you're catching this live for me to actually get your question, because I know I don't always get to all of them. But anyway, what is Take Your House Back? Well, it is a course that I created with Dawn from the Minimal Mom. Okay, can I come over here? Okay, with Dawn from the Minimal Mom and Cass from Clutterbag. We took those pictures. It's been like 3 years now. So I don't love my hair in them, but anyway, of course, today is not an example of how my hair is any different. But anyway, but that is what it is. So we have a course that we work together. There's a really good chance that a lot of you also follow Dawn and Cass. Dawn's YouTube channel is The Minimal Mom. Cass is Clutterbug. They are huge YouTubers, right? And so we got together to create a course on taking your house back. All right. So we talk about everything to do with changing your mindset and actual real implementation of changing your home. Okay. And what's beautiful about it is we're three very different people, and we all came from a situation of being overwhelmed and frustrated, okay, in our home. So none of us were born naturally good at this stuff, right? We all had to figure it out. We come together and we come to a lot of the same conclusions. So so many people tell us that the combination of the three of us has really been the thing that has helped them make progress. Because obviously the three of us all have so much free content out there, right? Like you can absolutely get what you need from each of us. Okay. But it's packaged and put together. And then there's the powerhouse of the three of us being together and really, coming in and coming to these very similar conclusions to one another, but from three different perspectives. And so that's really powerful. So people love it. So I'm just letting you know it is $84 right now. That is the cheapest that it's going to be. After Monday, it will go up to $94 and be that through December. But y'all, it's like the regular price when we're not running a sale is like over $500. And I know people are like, what? And I go, that's why you wait for a sale, right? Like I'm super cheap too. But it is that because like that's the kind of value. Like people have literally changed their homes. Let me just show you a couple of before and afters that people have given us permission to share. So let me just give you this one that is, oh, did I not bring here, let me grab the before from down here, right? I thought I uploaded it. Oh, that was a really good one. And now I'm not gonna be able to show it to you. Oh, well. But I do have, it was the less extreme, right? Like it was beautiful. Somebody had written in and they said, hey, I have actually been able to maintain this after, like, right? We all get that that's a great after, right? So this is how do I do this where I can be in the picture anyway? So this is a great after. It had stuff all over it. And her point when she had sent that in as a testimonial was, I have been able to actually maintain this. Like, it had always been a dumping ground, and that is how much my home has changed. But let's show you a little more extreme one here. Okay, so we have people with all ranges of where their starting point is to look at that. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that exciting to see? So anyway, just want to let you know, Take Your House Back. Go to aslobcomesclean.com/take. That's my link. And that will get you to the landing page. I just want to make sure you know about it, because I always hear from people who are like, oh no, now it's over $500. What am I going to do? And I'm like, we'll have another sale. Just wait for it. This is the sale. Like this is the biggest sale because it's Black Friday. Okay. let's see. Here we go. See, I'm going to use some of y'all's. Yes, this course is life-changing. So it really is. Yes, there is still a renewal, and the renewal after a year is like $10. So it is minimal. Okay. But that keeps you in the live group, keeps you with, because we do all day declutter events, which people love. And it keeps you, in all of that because it's an ongoing thing, right? So, but yeah. Yay, you bought the course at midnight. Love it. Okay. The price is so worth it. It's an amazing course. So these are live comments. It's not even just me putting up. I did have a couple other ones that I'll put up later that I had, taken from some things, people who have sent that. Okay, so let me see your questions. We've got a couple of questions here. Question: if I were to recommend your videos to an absolute beginner declutterer, which would you recommend? I would recommend the container concept, which easy to find because that is the one that's like there on, youtube.com/Dana K. White. I think it's either Dana K. White or a Slob Comes Clean. But like when you go to my YouTube page, like if you click on my name right now, it's going to take you to my main page and it has the container concept. The reason that I recommend that one is that it is the biggest game-changing mindset. If you can wrap your brain around containers are meant to serve as limits instead of meant to hold things, which is what I always thought before, which was what I would always bring more containers in, and then was mind boggled because my house was never any more organized. In fact, it got worse and worse the more I would try to bring in containers. When people grasp that, that changes everything for them, right? And it's the thing that so many things circle around. So that's what I would recommend as a beginning video for people. The other one that is very helpful as far as if you're trying to explain this process would be, I think it's my no mess decluttering process demonstration. And it came out, my guess is December of 21, I think, about right? I think it's December of 21. Anyway, that one is, it's like 30 minutes long, but I take you through the whole process, decluttering a space, and I talk through each step. And it kind of helps people to see what we're talking about, like with the no mess decluttering, with the, impact of an hour, all that kind of stuff. So that is where I would recommend. But the number one is container concept. In fact, with my coaches, I certify decluttering coaches. With them, I have one of their first assignments is to go watch that video and go through the comments and see how many people say, I get it now, or this is the thing I've been missing, or whatever. Like so many of the comments. Of course, there's also wackadoodle comments, right? But because it's done really well, and that's just what happens. But the vast majority of them are people saying, this is it. I finally understand. It's like, that's the difference between how I thought and what organized people were thinking and didn't know that they needed to ever explain to someone because they didn't understand there were people who didn't know it. It's the container concept. That's the one. Okay. Let's see. More questions. Make sure you put a question marks at the beginning of your statement. See how Amy did there? Okay. Let's see. For those who don't know, all of our lovely instructors for this course, what are your individual strengths you three are bringing to the table? Look at you. I feel like you're helping with the marketing. I'm not for sure here, but yeah. So I love this question. So that's what I like about it so much, right? So as y'all know, I am declutter is everything to me. That's basically the thing that I teach. And I'm really passionate about sticking to that and not trying to make up new fancy things and just being like, let's just declutter. This is the thing that changes everything. It's the decluttering, right? So when we actually got together to do this course, my thing that I said, and if y'all know me, you're not going to be horrified or surprised by this. You'll understand. But I said, I would love to do this. This sounds like a lot of fun. I said, but we have to use my decluttering method because it doesn't make any sense for me to have developed a very definite, specific decluttering method and then go teach something else. I'm like, it's not, it's not okay for me to be like, oh, this is a way to declutter. I'm like, no, this is the way to declutter. And they were like, oh, absolutely, of course, And Dom's like super passionate about that. So we teach my decluttering method. Cass, if you don't know her, she is, which I'm sure all of y'all do. If you know me, you definitely know Cass, right? So she is the organizing queen, right? Like she is, and she does it in such a great way of acknowledging the uniqueness of how people actually function, right? Like, so she's got her clutter bag system. Don't ask me questions about that because that's hers and I don't get it, right? But it's amazing. Like, it has changed people's lives in that they get their unique organizing style. And so she's really passionate about that. So I'm like, I am happy to say this is a fantastic style of organizing that acknowledges the uniqueness of people's brains, right? Like, so I love that. So she's amazing at that. And then Dawn is she's such a realistic view of minimalism. Okay. As y'all know, I am not a minimalist, right? But she is so passionate about minimalism and she studies it. And so she comes in with she's so great at, research studies and all this kind of stuff that just really brings and beefs up what it is that we are teaching as far as a mindset. So a lot of the comments that we get from people are like, this is what I needed, this combination of people. Like, there's just something about it that does so well. Okay, just want to make sure that if you don't know what I'm talking about, and because you just got here, the Take Your House Back course. That's the reason I went hard at the beginning to kind of explain, hey, it's on sale right now for $84 for Black Friday weekend. So I want to make sure you understand what it is so that you can take advantage of that, because, the price goes up after this. It's only $94 to the end of December, but you want to grab it, right, while you can this weekend. All right, couple more questions. Okay, here we go. Grandma, since their birth, they're now 14, nonverbal, autistic, and 13-year-old girl, IEP papers, and plus declutter everything else, so overwhelmed when to begin with paper or other stuff in my way. Right. Okay. First of all, I think what you're saying is you are their primary caregiver. So I just want to say thank you, because you've got so much on your plate, right? And I'm very thankful for you that you've taken this on. So here's the thing. Anytime there is something specific that you're overwhelmed with in the overall decluttering process, like I look at my house and I know that this is going to be so difficult, either this specific room, this specific category of stuff, this specific space, whatever. So IEP papers, decluttering those, and like everything feels important, all of that. But the key that I want to point out here is, and plus declutter everything else. Here's what I'm going to say. Yes, it's overwhelming. The fact that everything else needs to be decluttered too just really contributes to that overall anxious feeling that you have over all of decluttering. So I'm going to say wait on those things that are very highly difficult and important and daunting to you, and really focus in on the other stuff. So start with your visible spaces. I'm giving you permission to declutter the other things first, because what happens is when we have a thing that is daunting to us, which I guess means it daunts us, right? But is daunting to us, we tend, and when I say we, I mean like people in general, right? Even people who are way more organized than I've ever been in my whole life will tell me, yes, this made sense when you said it. We tend to fixate on that really difficult, hard decluttering category. And that overwhelms us so much that we are stopped from doing anything in the house, okay, from doing any of the decluttering. So what I'm going to say is go focus on a visible space so that you can inspire yourself to keep going, right? And you can see the impact of your work. Focus on a visible space and do the stuff that is not difficult. You just haven't done it yet, right? So start with the trash. Start, doing easy stuff, anything that has an established home somewhere else, take it to that home, get rid of dead donations, do that kind of stuff and say, I am working to get my house under control, which will then make me feel less overwhelmed, which eventually will get me to the point where I have the bandwidth to tackle these things. You have so much on your plate right now that it is very hard to tackle this very, very difficult thing, but it feels like I got to do that first. You don't. Do these other things and it will bring you to that point where then you are ready to tackle that stuff. Okay. So if you had said, I would have a different answer if you had told me that everything in my house is absolutely perfect. This is the last thing, that would be a different answer. But because you said plus declutter everything else, go ahead and declutter other things. And then that is going to get you ready for that. Okay. I've decluttered so much. As soon as I bring something else in, I can still feel the house getting out of control, still over my clutter threshold. I need motivation to keep going. Okay. I think that the 5-minute pickup, if you have not been really, truly implementing that, that is what I would do right here. Because remember, the 5-minute pickup is valuable on its own every single time that you do it, right? Like a 5-minute pickup means a 5-minute pickup. Don't say, well, a 5-minute pickup takes me half an hour to get 5 minutes worth of work done. That's not what we're talking about, okay? Because that makes no sense, right? And I know you didn't say that, but people have said that to me before. So do 5-minute pickups. Say, I'm going to focus in on this, because what that will do is it will keep the progress that you've made from your decluttering. It will sustain that progress. Okay. It also will show you your real clutter threshold. Are you over it or are you under it? A clutter threshold does not mean that everything is perfect all the time. Because if the goal was for everything to be perfect all the time, first of all, I don't think anybody is actually like that. I'm sure there are a few, but that is an unachievable goal for me. All right. But a house that is under control is a house that with a 5-minute pickup can be back to what it needs to be, right? Like it's back under control. So those 5-minute pickups are going to actually show you, is my house under my clutter threshold? Because when your house is under your clutter threshold, the amount of stuff that you personally can keep under control easily, that means a normal everyday 5-minute pickup gets it back to where it needs to be. And if it's not doing that, you have too much stuff. It's not that the stuff isn't great. It's just there's too much. It's more than you can handle, and you get rid of some more and you get rid of some more. And I think the more you zero in on the 5-minute pickup, it's going to make you start to feel better about things, because you're like, okay, yeah, 5 minutes does it. I can get my house back under control in 5 minutes, which is going to take some of that anxiety away of, oh no, something came in my house, it's all going to be over. No, it's the practice of that 5 minutes getting things back under control that's really going to impact, how you see your home, how you feel about your home, how you feel in control of your home. But it's also going to show you, do I need to keep going? Do I need to declutter further so that it is under my clutter threshold? Okay. My husband feels almost physical pain when I want him to declutter one old t-shirt. He wants new ones that are his dream ones, but still don't want to declutter the old ones. How can I help him? Okay, so the first thing to do here is to declutter your own things. And I know that sounds like, what? Wait, I'm not, again, it's kind of like what we talked about a minute ago with the other question of like this one specific category of things that was overwhelming to the person who was asking the question. And it becomes the thing that I've got to solve this problem. In the meantime, there are other things to declutter. And maybe you don't have any clutter, which you probably do, right? And so focus in on your stuff first before you ever bring up the old t-shirt, right? So like, it feels like if I live in a home with other people and I'm going to change this home, I need to make this a group effort, right? Because realistically, in a perfect world, it would be, right? Except that you're the one watching the lady on the internet talk about decluttering on a YouTube live, right? And so it's like, you're the one who's more into this. You're the one who's in the mindset, who's thinking about how you would like for things to change. And so really waiting for everybody to get on board or waiting for it to be a group effort is basically never effective. And so it's best for you to say, what can I do right now? Well, the thing that you can do that nobody can stop you from doing is dealing with your own stuff, right? And I know some of y'all are going to say, so what stop me from whatever, but you know what I mean, right? So focus in on your own stuff and neutral stuff. And if you're following the visibility rule, which means that you're starting out working in a visible space where the people in your house are going to see it. The thing that happens time and time again, and I can't guarantee it, except that it happened for me, it happened for Cass, happened for Dawn, happens for so many people who send us emails. When you focus on your stuff first in visible spaces, the people in your house start to experience what my family had never experienced before I started decluttering, which was a house that was easier to live in because it had less stuff, right? And as they experienced our house is easier to, they may not immediately verbalize what they're experiencing, but they are experiencing that we can have people over and it's not this huge big deal, right? We can pick up the living room and it looks great on a random day. And it's not just because we spent, 3 weeks excavating it, whatever. They experience this living in a space that has less, and it changes how they view their own stuff. And so most of the time, eventually someone will change how they see their stuff. But here's the thing, and I'm not saying this is your situation, but it is so normal when you look at your house, okay, and I'm not speaking specifically to you, I'm talking about people in general, right? When we look at our houses and we go, oh my goodness, I've got to declutter. The easiest thing for me to declutter is my husband's old t-shirt, right? Like I see the ridiculousness of that being in our house. We don't use it. We would never use it, blah, blah, blah. And so that feels very easy to me because I don't have any attachment to it. But when I focus in on that, because I'm like, well, duh, that should go. When in reality, I've got my own stuff, either my own old t-shirts that have have a lot of sentimental value to me, or my own stuff that's just out and making, life harder to live in our home. When I am focusing in on his stuff and I've got my own stuff over here, most situations, the person who is not as into decluttering and is like, why are you wanting to get rid of my things when you've got your own things to deal with, is going to hold on tighter, right? And so dealing with your own stuff first, even if they never let go of that t-shirt, your house is going to improve and you're going to feel better about your house, all of that, okay? Lots of Doombox totes left over from our move 3 years ago. When in the process should we tackle these? Okay, so I am a big fan of whenever you feel like it, right? like I will just kind of be like, I've got some time. I'm going to go tackle this thing. The reason we have the visibility rule is for if you need to build momentum, right? Like if the house in general is overwhelmingly messy, okay, then we start in the visible area. That's how we build momentum. We start in the visible area, we declutter there. The next time we're inspired to declutter, which is sooner than it would have been because it's in a visible area and we've been seeing, wow, that really made an impact. I'm ready to declutter some more. We go back to that first space. And even though we're like, oh no, I have to declutter this again, it only takes 3 minutes because it's really just, picking stuff up and putting it away and throw away some trash, right? And then we move to the next one. And that's how we build momentum by really maintaining what we've done and then continuing to declutter more. But you can declutter at any point. Like go tackle a doom box. Go, if it's nice weather where you are and it's in the garage and it's not too hot and not too cold, which those are issues, in all the different places, go tackle a thing, but just use the no mess process so that you don't end up in a situation where you are actually making things worse because you just pulled everything out of the box and laid it all around and then you have to step away, right? Okay, so whenever you want to, but if you're asking like my house is a total mess, I would start in the visible spaces, use that to work through the house, by using the visibility rule. And then that would be part of that process, right? Like as you keep on working through the house. I love that. That's really helpful. That's really helpful. Okay, for those of y'all who are just coming, I'm going to say this several times because I don't want you to miss out in case this is the only couple of minutes that you watch here. Take Your House Back, the course that I do with Dawn from The Minimal Mom and Cass from Clutterbug, is on sale. Black Friday sale, $84. It's the cheapest it's going to be. And after Monday, it will go up to $94, which is still an amazing deal. Amazing compared to like the over $500 that it is when it's not on sale. But I just want to make sure you know about it. Okay. slobcomesclean.com/take. That is my link for you to go and grab that. Okay. Let's see. Decluttering for years. I was surprised that in returning to a space more rarely used, I found things I thought I had decluttered long ago. How often should one go back and declutter again? I don't know about again. I'm sorry. I don't know about how often, like necessarily. I think you go through when we're following the visibility rule, like I was talking about a minute ago. Just to be clear, this is how this works. You declutter in the most visible space, right? Declutter as ruthlessly as you can. And then you're inspired to declutter again sooner because of, wow, my house is so much better because of the space I did. You go back to the first space you did, you redo it, which takes, 3 to 5 minutes, even though it feels like it's going to take a long time. You move to the next space, you declutter that. Okay. Then you're inspired to declutter again even sooner because, wow, my house is looking so much better. You go back to the first space, it takes a minute this time. The second space takes 3 minutes to get it back to where it was. Then the third space, you spend your couple hours, whatever that you're working on. And then that's how we really get through the house. But going back to a space, once you've gotten through your house, I think 6 months, a year, whatever works for you, it is a natural thing that week between Christmas and New Year's, if you're home, people love to declutter during that time. It is a weird thing that when it happened to me years ago, before this was what I did for a living, I was like, strangely, I'm motivated to declutter. Now I know what the whole world is, right? Like that, everybody's into decluttering at that point. There's just something that happens at that time. But go back through things, and the more you've been decluttering, you'll do that. But I just want to say you're experiencing the power of re-decluttering, because what probably happened, honestly, what probably happened was the time that you went through that space before, you probably agonized over that item. And we're like, oh, I know it doesn't fit the decluttering questions, and I know it's supposed to, I just can't. Listen, if you need to skip something, skip it. The beauty of re-decluttering is that you go back and things that were emotionally difficult before, because you were like, oh, I can't. You're like, oh, like you just said, I thought I already decluttered that. Oh, it's easy. I cannot tell you how many times that happens. That's the beauty of re-decluttering. And knowing that re-decluttering is a thing makes you realize in the moment that, okay, this is an ongoing thing for the rest of my life. I'm not going to do this wrong and then, oh, well, it's all over. I lost my chance. No, we're always going to go back to spaces. Okay. All right. Yes. Yeah, I know. Take Your House Back. Go to slobcomesclean.com/take. And you can get it for $84 right now, which is an amazing deal. Okay. Isn't this the best time of year to declutter in preparation for holiday decorating? Yes. I think it's always a great time, but yes, this is a fantastic time. Here's my advice. And I know I've got videos that I've done in the past on this, but I pack away my regular decor when I put out my Christmas decor. Okay. So I have my Christmas decor in boxes and tubs. I bring that stuff out. And when I go to put it on the shelf, I take whatever's there the rest of the year and I put it in that box. And that so many times I go, okay, I got to put it in the box, and I'm touching it and I think, oh, wait, I don't like this thing anymore. And I just stick it in a donate box. So yes, it is a fantastic time to do that. Okay. I'm struggling with finding things in the new place after decluttering. Okay. So I'm curious if you are following my method for determining where things go, okay? Which is not deciding where things go, it's determining where things go. It's identifying where an item's home should be. And that is where would I look for it first? Okay, not where should it go, where would I look for it first if I needed this item? And that eliminates a lot of this. So what I would say is pay attention to, as you are asking yourself, where would I look for this first? Make sure you are not analyzing. Make sure you're not taking some time going, where would I look for this first? Because you might be moving into where should this go without realizing it. Where would I look for this first is instinct-based. Now, it can be like, but that's not where I want it to go. Well, it is better, especially here in the beginning when you are trying to declutter and you're overwhelmed with all the stuff, to put things in its actual, make the home the place where you would look for it first. Over time, you're going to eliminate so many things from your home as you go through this process that you're going to have some more bandwidth to be able to potentially change some spots. But where would I look for it first is the best way to create a home, which then would eliminate this. So I would just make sure you're pay attention to, are you asking and answering that question the way that you need to? Let's see. Love it. So I guess Cass was live. I didn't know that, but we are going to, so there's a private Facebook group for the course, and we're going to do a live next week, which then also goes into the course in that private thing, the three of us together talking about, holiday decorating and decluttering while you're doing that and everything. So if that's, motivation for you to go and get the course, well, it's on sale this weekend. Hey, I'll give you whatever motivation you need to go grab it. slobcomes.com/take is my thing. Okay, this is a great question. For Take Your House Back, is Facebook still largely required? No, previously we were looking to a different method. Okay, so just to be clear, it has never been required at all. So here's the thing. There is a Facebook group. That's where most people are, right? Like it is. I personally don't love that because it kind of feeds into that, like makes it feel like a challenge because I'm seeing stuff coming up all the time and I'm like, and that I rebel against that, right? So nothing happens in the Facebook group that doesn't also go into the course, right? So when we do this live that Cass and Dawn and I are going to do together next week, we will do it live in Facebook because that is the place where people can watch it and it can be in a private group and blah, blah, blah. Okay. But it immediately, as soon as that is over, goes into the course itself. So the course holds all content. So you don't even have to be on Facebook at all to be able to access every single bit of content. The only thing you don't have is the community of Facebook, right? Like the community of a group of people. Some people love that community. Some people don't love it, but you're not missing out on any actual course content, like at all. Okay, even when we do the all-day declutters, like you're basically just 1 hour behind. We record it and then it goes straight into the group. Okay, so yeah, no, it's just a reality. There is no other method where you can have a private group with the capability to, do lives and stuff like that. But anytime that we do a Q&A, we take a lot of questions ahead of time. So you're given the opportunity to submit questions, kind of like I do here on my YouTube lives. So yeah. Okay. Okay, Scheller just now here. slobcomesclean.com/take. It is $84 through Monday. Okay. So Take Your House Back, the course that I do with Dawn and Cass. All right. So let's see. Yeah. I like watching the lives later sometimes. The chat sometimes distracts me from the video. Yeah, that's the thing. For me, I am not a big fan of doing all that there. But you're not missing out on anything for sure. Okay, let's see. Here we go. Here's somebody who has, MM says, I'm taking the course and don't use Facebook. It hasn't been an issue because they post the all-day declutters and other lives on the course website. You just can't participate live. Right. Okay. Questions? Anybody else have any general decluttering questions? Oh, here we go. Do I have an online planner? Can't use is a planner a good idea? I am not a big planner person. I use primarily, I was looking around for my phone. Oh, here it is. I primarily use my phone. I have my Google Calendar is kind of everything to me. And, you can color code there, and it syncs with your email so that if you get an email, or honestly, sometimes even like some kind of text, I'm not sure what it is, but anyway, I get an email with an appointment or a schedule in it, and it is often something where I can just click on something and it immediately adds it to my calendar. So that is the thing, especially for, if you want to do online anyway, that's what I have found to be successful. I know there are other people who love a lot of different things, but I've never done anything fancy. So for that, let's see. Here we go. Oh, sorry. What was the Discord? Okay. Yeah, I don't know much about it, but I know it doesn't have the same live, at least I think that. Anyway, I don't know. But there's also just the reality that most people are on Facebook. I mean, this is one of those things, because I've been like, okay, I could do, whatever kind of thing. I know, here I'm being super random. But the reality is people are on Facebook. And so if the vast majority are there, that's where it's, easiest to do the live thing. Okay. Any tips for keeping our dining table clean? Start there with the 5-minute pickup. Yeah. I mean, basically that would be great. I think somebody else suggested like put something pretty on your table. I think that's a great idea. Yeah. I mean, the 5-minute pickup is the way. And here's the beauty of the 5-minute pickup. Doing a 5-minute pickup every day, when you start realizing every day I am having to clean off this table, or every day I have to move this thing, or whatever, it starts to change how your brain thinks as you're putting things down. I will always randomly put things down without realizing it, but I get better and better the more I do 5-minute pickups, because my brain starts to register, oh, if I set this down now, it's just something else I have to do during the 5-minute pickup. So I might as well put it in its actual place, right? So yeah, let's see. I am going to tell you that this is a great question for Jackie. You can email support@takeyourhouseback.com, and she will give you some more details on that, because I don't want to tell you something that's incorrect. I know for my personal group, like my Patreon group, we have it as a secret group, because I know this is an issue, right? So my Patreon group is a secret group, and it's a huge hassle to get people into it, because Facebook does not make it easy, right? But we do that because it's secret, right? But that's a much smaller group than what you're talking about. So I'm not for sure. I know it's a private group, and so people can't be in there, but the other people might be able to see that you're in the group. So if that's what you're not wanting to have happen, I would check with Jackie, and probably if she tells you exactly what the group is classified as, I would recommend, if this is something super important to you, that you would do the research to find out what exactly that means, right? Okay. Let's see. Why do I keep rearranging when I declutter? Am I overthinking or over my clutter threshold? I would say really zero in on, like, get yourself the printable of my 5-step process. Let's see, I always like to have that here. Of my 5-step process, slopcomesclean.com/5, and print it out and have it there and use it to keep yourself on track. Like, really stay on track with the process, because it might be that, okay, yeah, I know, you start with trash and then you kind of get off doing what you've always done, right? So really do that so that you are decluttering and embracing the reality of the actual space. Let's see. And there's that, because I keep wanting to make sure that you'll know about the fact that it's on sale. Let's see. Yeah, see, that's the thing, is I don't want to be the one to tell you for sure that nobody's ever going to see anything, because I don't know. Because I also know how important that is, right? Fantasy stuff is hard. You have to make peace with it. To paraphrase Andy, you can keep anything, you just can't keep everything, right? Yeah. Let's see. was this question that I saw up here that I was going to answer. I watched all the course except for all the live declutters. It says I've completed 37%. Are the lives 70% of the course? Okay, so we do a lot of lives. They all go in there. So yeah, I mean, like, but the course is not the lives. Like, the lives are bonus content, right? Like, so we will take questions and we will do all that. The course itself is what it is, and it takes you through the whole process. If you don't want to watch the lives, that's great. But yeah, as we keep adding in more lives, it is going to change that percentage, and that's what makes it like that. So, but yeah, the course itself, that's why I'm always like, make sure you've done the course, because I think sometimes people just do the lives and then they don't actually know what we're talking about. Anyway, I know there was somebody. This is what it was. Yeah. How do I start? This is my favorite question, right? Start in a visible space. Go to the entryway of your home. Okay. And when you have 4 question marks after how do I start, it feels like you're overwhelmed. I don't know for sure, but go to the entryway of your home, because you got to know where to start, right? If you're overwhelmed, grab a black trash bag, get any kind of a box that can be donated along with the stuff that's in it, and start throwing away trash. There's more, right? But because you asked, how do I start? I'm going to say start throwing away trash. Here's the thing. When I say trash, I mean actual trash. I do not mean anything that you have to decide whether it's trash or not. Start throwing away anything that is trash. Here's what it does. It does 2 things. First of all, it makes immediate progress because trash is going to its final home, which is the trash bag, right? But it also takes you from a place of feeling overwhelmed and like, oh my goodness, what do I do? To this place of your brain now knowing what you're dealing with. Because when things are overwhelming, when it is a pile or it is behind a door or it is whatever, your brain does not know what's in there. And the fact that you don't know what's there is a big part of what's overwhelming you. Look, always look is one of my decluttering strategies, right? Just go ahead and look at the space. Sometimes we're too scared to even look. But if I say to myself, I am just going to get rid of trash, I'm immediately making progress and I'm looking. Right? Because I'm looking to see what's trash. Meanwhile, I'm seeing other things that are not trash. And as I do that, I am making a visible impact. I am moving, which is the hardest thing to start doing. And my brain is seeing what's here. And then even if all you did was just deal with trash, and then you step away after 3 minutes or 5 minutes or an hour, you step away and you ignore that space for a while. I mean, if you can keep going, keep going. But even if you step away and you're not even thinking about that space, something starts happening in your brain. I am not a cognitive scientist, right? Is that a thing? I'm sure it is. But something happens in your brain because you now know what's there. And the next time you go back and you say, okay, I got to go back to this space. I'm going to look for trash again. Probably there's almost no trash because I did that before. And then I'm going to look for easy stuff. You are less overwhelmed because you know what you're facing and you know what's there. And it's amazing what that does inside your brain. So that's how you start. Getting started is like my specialty, right? That's my special thing I teach. All right. I try to say it a lot. I mean, have you noticed that I try to say it a lot? There's a lot of people who get super excited about the all-day declutters, and I think that's fantastic. And so many people make great progress. But I'm always like, y'all, there's a course, and the course is life-changing. Okay, yeah. So aslobcomesclean.com/take. That is where you go to. That's my link for, here, I'm going to put this up, but I'm going to peek out the side. Anyway, it's Take Your House Back. It's a course, and we lead you through the process. That's where the main value is in us leading you through the process. It's what I do with Dawn and Cass. All right. Let's see. Oh, I just saw some other things. Let's see. How to overcome with limited mobility and getting frustrated because it takes so long to get things done. Remember that the less stuff you have, the easier it's going to be to, oh, I still have that picture up there. Sorry. The less stuff that you have, the easier it's going to be to get things done. You know, you're not going to have as many things to put back. You're not going to have as many things that can get out of place. All right. So be ruthless in any space that you are in, right? I want you to be sure that you have watched the last 1 hour better I did. And I think we talked about limited energy, but because of her limited energy, we just did what we could do while she was sitting in one spot. That does not mean that we made piles. We did not, put things in a keep box to put away later. We still use the no mess process, but we only did what she could do while she was sitting in one spot. Okay. And she made big progress. So make sure you go and watch that one. And remember, as you're doing it, that the more I get rid of, the easier I'm going to make things for myself going forward to acknowledge and accept the reality that I have mobility issues. Okay. I still freeze up when I have something to put away in an overfilled closet or shelf. I keep telling myself I should empty the whole shelf or closet, but that leads to more mess. Any advice for me? Yes. We never empty. If you ever find yourself wanting to empty a shelf or a closet, say, Dana would tell me not to do this. I mean, I cannot tell y'all how many times people are like, okay, but give me permission. Not like you'll need my permission for anything. It's your house. Do whatever you want, right? But people are like, oh, but for me, I should have to empty this shelf, right? And I'm always like, no, I'm never gonna say that. Okay. So remember, all you have to do is make the space for this one item. If it is overfilled and there are things that need to go there and there's not even any room for it, then things need to leave this space, right? Like they need to leave your house. We're not stuff shifting. They need to actually leave the house. So look for trash. Ideally, it's going to be trash or a donation that will create the space. Trash is the easiest, right? So you just look, is there any trash in here? There's always trash, right? That I can remove that's going to make the space for this item that needs to go in this space because I would look for it here first. When I say, I'm just going to remove something to make this space, I'm not making this space better, but I'm also not making it any worse. And I'm making my whole house better because something has left my house and something has a real home to live in now. Right. And so that's what you're doing. Just create the space for the one item by removing trash. Your trash bag is back at the original space you were decluttering. So that takes you back there. Or a donation that you're going to take back to the donate box that's in the original space you were decluttering. Okay. Here's the thing too. When you do that, you are facing reality. Because if you put it off, if you just say, okay, well, I don't know, and I don't want to have to deal with that space yet, so I'm just going to set it over here. You're not facing reality, right? But if you get there and you say, okay, I have to remove something to make space for this, I'm facing the reality that I don't have enough room for all this stuff that's in here and something has to leave, right? But I also sometimes are like, oh, this thing in my hand that I thought I would look for here first, and I carried all the way here, it doesn't actually deserve space in my home. It doesn't deserve for something else to have to leave for it. So it is the thing that can be donated, right? Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad because you were the one that asked about getting started. And so I'm glad that was helpful. Okay. Let's see. This is a testimonial, y'all, and it's live, and you have a German Shepherd. So we all know that you and I would be friends because we could talk about our German Shepherds forever, both the good things and the challenging things, I'm sure, right? Anyway, okay, so here is a testimonial for the Take Your House Back course, aslobcomesclean.com/take. That's my link for you to go and join it while it's on sale for $84 through Cyber Monday, which is Monday the 27th, right? I had my feet up watching football, waiting for guests yesterday. How many of y'all can't even imagine being at that point? I could not have imagined that at one point. Like for me, if you know me and you've heard my stories before, the year before I started what I call my deslobification process, where I started writing about it on my website, I hosted Thanksgiving at my house and I literally said no to any opportunities, obligations, anything fun for the entire fall because I was so stressed out about getting my house ready up to the last minute. So having a home where you can put your feet up and watch football, waiting for your guests, if that's your dream, that is what this person is saying. Or this dog is, maybe TJ is the dog. I'm just kidding. Anyway, but that's what this person is saying they are now able to do. 2 years ago, I would have been just out of the shower mopping floors at that time. 2-year member of Take Your House Back. Coincidence? I think not. I'm just telling you, like, love it. Okay, let's see. Okay, so I'm just going to put it up one more time, right? Not probably one more time. One of 15 more times. slobcomesclean.com/take. That's my link for you to go grab Take Your House Back for, yeah, $84. That's right. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah. They are the best and they're bananas, right? Okay. I have to say this. I'm just saying, because I have had people be like, oh, I see your German Shepherd on your videos. And so I think I'm going to get a German Shepherd. And I'm like, only if you've had them before and you really, really, really know how to deal with them, because they are a big challenge, like a huge challenge. So I think any German Shepherd person would tell you that. So I don't think anybody will be offended at that. Okay. Any tips on how to manage between now and Christmas? Yes. Anytime that it gets a little out of routine, my brain immediately is like, okay, well, new plan. What I've learned is that what didn't always serve me well, right? So zeroing in on which things are the most important and move the needle, okay? Both in improving my house and in maintaining anything I have already done. Not waiting to get it all perfect before I maintain, but these things move the needle and actually start the process of my house getting better. So in any situation, the two things is just to remember, do the dishes. I don't care what time of day you do them. I don't care whether you hand wash or use a dishwasher or whatever. Just say, do the dishes. If nothing else can happen, I'm going to do my dishes, because if I will do my dishes, it keeps bad things from happening and it moves things forward. Okay. So really zero in on that. The other one is the 5-minute pickup. So those two things, if I can't do anything else, I'm going to do those two things. And if I will do those two things, it is shocking how it keeps the house under control. Those two things, right? Okay. Let's see. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, this is not a dog getting advice thing. I just always want people to know that, because I don't want you to think that when you see her being adorable, because she is, and I love her and she's my favorite thing in the whole world, like, except for my kids. I love my kids better. Sorry. But like, I adore her, but German Shepherds are a challenge, like a challenge that is not a good challenge for people who don't have experience with challenging dogs. Okay. How to manage toys before and after Christmas. We have a birthday and a Christmas with 4 kids, and my kids get a lot of presents. I know I have a kid who has a birthday 3 days after Christmas, so I do get it. Yeah, I think it's the container concept. I know that's never what people want to hear, but it's the truth, right? Like, so embracing the reality of the space that you have for toys, and just going ahead and decluttering now using the container as the guide, right? Like, so we go through the process, we get rid of the trash, we deal with the easy stuff, we get rid of dead donations. That's going to immediately make it better. And then we start asking ourselves the question, if I needed this item, where would I look for it first? And then, so like, I would look for my Barbies over in this spot. Okay, well, this spot is only so big and has a bucket this big. Okay, well, then we have to get rid of our less favorites. Still love them. We have to get rid of the ones we don't love as much until they all fit in that space. And so really go through the whole 5-step process, which works very well with children, and declutter so that the room is what you want it to be, the space is what you want it to be. And then as new stuff comes in, then it's like, oh, you got 3 new Barbies. That's amazing. There's no room in your Barbie bucket. So which 3 can we get rid of, you know, to make the space for these new ones that you love? Be ready though, because sometimes the kids are gonna be like, well, I don't love this new one as much as I love these, so I'm ready to get rid of the new one. And then it's like, but I came to a point where I just decided, you know what? If my kids don't want to keep something, I'm gonna not talk them into keeping it, even though it's really hard sometimes, right? Because I'm like, you should have an emotional attachment to that. And they're like, but I don't. So let's see. Dana, I wasn't expecting a live today. I got a lot to do today and I really needed the motivation. Oh, that makes me happy. Yes. So Cass is a genius at paper organization. Like, she's great. And I love how she just really zeroes in and makes it less complicated instead of more complicated. So I have a video about paper clutter that I took the system that Cass and Dawn taught, used it in my own home, made a couple adjustments for me, but like, I'm like, I think I went to 3 categories instead of the 5 that they had, but I'm like, that is what I do. And I learned it from them. So yes, I would say that is a highly, highly valuable part of the course. If you're just joining us, Take Your House Back is only $84 through Monday, and then it'll be $94, which is still an amazing price through the end of December, maybe a little bit after that, but anyway, for sure through the end of December. And so go grab it. Go grab it while it's this weekend. It is well worth it. Okay, here's a couple of quotes that people had sent in about the course. I wish I could tell you how this course has changed my life. It has helped me become a better person, a better wife, and a better parent. Truly an answer to so much prayer. Love that. Every one of your videos, this talking specifically about the course, has helped me declutter and organize to make it work for me, and my house really, really looks better. I still have a lot more to do, but you are truly giving me my house back. Except that it's you taking your house back, and you're the one doing the work, and I'm so proud. For those of you who have chronic health issues, I know this is a common question that we get. This is one that a testimonial that speaks specifically on that. I have many chronic health challenges, and for the first time, I'm getting my house together. I feel I have a purpose and I'm winning. You all have given me a passion. Again, you've given me success. So just want to make sure you know about that. I know I'm selling it hard today, but it's because I literally always hear from people who are like, oh no, I missed the sale. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. So I want to make sure you know about it. aslobcomesclean.com/take is my link for that. Okay, couple more questions. If anybody has some advice or tips you wouldn't mind sharing for a new mom of a 3-month-old. Enjoy it. I hate to tell you this, but those little feet, maybe not if you have a girl, but my experience, they're little baby boy feet. They are going to get hairy one day, and they are nowhere near as cute anymore. So enjoy them right now. Well, they're so cute. Anyway, so enjoy that baby. Like I said before to the person who was asking about like between now and Christmas when things are crazy, dishes. If you can't do anything else, do the dishes. If you can do one more thing, do a 5-minute pickup. That will get you through this time. It will. And it will keep your house at a point where it's not like, oh, my house, I want to enjoy my baby, but my house is so stressful. Those two things. And I think that's what's so important is like being able to narrow down and go, okay, good. I just thought of something, but anyway. All right, I'm going to take one more question. Let's see. Yay. Love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Okay. Do the dishes help you so much? I'm just telling you, like, it is incredibly, incredibly helpful. Okay, so just one more time, aslobcomesclean.com/take. Go grab it, get take your house back while it's only $84. And I will see you in there. Okay, I'm going to end now. Okay.